Hello and welcome to Business Edition. In this program, we look at Africa Enterprise Challenge Fund as it opens its fourth round of the agribusiness funding window, opening up an opportunity for the private sector to access the funds. And Vodacom Tanzania talks about its future plans in the digital age. My name is Yvonne Msemembo saying welcome to Business Edition. I have with me Hugh Scott, and he's the Director of Africa Enterprise Challenge Fund, AECF. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
This is the fourth round. How many people have benefited from this project?
We have...
We're talking about numbers of projects so far.
We have 55 in Tanzania. The AECF as a whole works in 24 countries across the continent of Africa, and we have agreed funding or funded about 240 businesses, averaging about $500,000 to $750,000 per business. 55 of those businesses are in Tanzania. Tanzania has been the most successful country on the continent in terms of receiving funding from the AECF. We think it's very exciting.
Why do you think Tanzania is most successful compared to other countries?
The AECF is an agribusiness fund and a renewable energy fund. This particular window we're launching is the Tanzania Agribusiness Window Round 4 competition. First thing, Tanzania is very much an agricultural country. It's a big country. Agriculture is very important to the economy in this country, and there's a lot of activity and there's a lot of attention by both government and the private sector to develop the agricultural sector. So this fund fits well with where Tanzania is going. But also, we must understand, the AECF has competitions that are open to the whole of sub-Saharan Africa, but it also has competitions focused on single countries or groups of countries. And in this case, for various reasons, Tanzania has had more attention. So it has more direct competitions of its own that's enabled it to fund more businesses. We like that. We're very excited about launching this one.
So when we look at the kind of projects that are taking off, where's the focus been so far?
We have a set of renewable energy projects that are doing extremely well. You may have come across these, what we call them the PAYGOs. Basically solar home lighting businesses. You may have heard of Off-Grid Electric, Mobisol, Mkopa in Kenya, which is now coming up here. Fantastic business. 275,000 households without power have now been lit up in 18 months of Mkopa's 2 years of their life. So we have a number of those. We support that set of businesses. That's the renewable energy side. But today we're talking about agribusiness, and in our agribusiness portfolio in Tanzania we also have a set of very exciting projects. We have two types of projects in agriculture primarily. Ones where we back businesses whose products benefit small farmers, seed companies, fertilizer companies, agricultural chemical companies, TV companies. We were talking before about Media Limited with their Shamba Shape Up series, which we've supported from the beginning. That provides advice to small farmers. They gain from the increased knowledge. We also finance financial institutions, leasing companies who provide agricultural machinery leasing or what it is. So we have a set of companies who produce goods that the small farmers can benefit from, better seeds, etc. And then we support the other group of businesses, which are the ones that are buying things from small farmers. So agricultural processing companies, trading companies, people who are running outgrower schemes to get the farmers to grow things for them and those kind of things. So really, in agribusiness, the portfolio tends to break down into those two things. Companies producing things that smallholders can buy and benefit from, and companies that are buying things from small companies. And those are the companies we want to hear from. We cover the whole of the agricultural sector, from information through to inputs through to whatever. And that's what it's about.
What has the response been so far from Tanzanian companies? We look at the private sector. How do you assess it?
The response has been excellent, really exciting. We were quite concerned after the first two rounds with round three, thinking, are we really going to get any more good bids? Have we really sort of saturated the market? And we were very pleasantly surprised. I sincerely hope we'll be surprised again. we will do everything from startup to an innovative business idea of an existing business. So the scope is quite big. I think the sector is growing with more companies coming in. So we hope that we will find some really exciting new projects this time too.
And how much, when we talked about the grants, how much can they apply for? Or do you have a look at the project first and see how much they deserve to get? What do you do to make...
it's a competition.
Yeah.
The amount of money available in this competition is $8 million US for this particular competition. When you take off some of the marketing and things and whatever, but it's a little bit less that's available to the business, but about that sort of number. The businesses, in the same way as we had in the past, can apply for funding between $100,000 and $1 million. We average about $500,000. So we're looking to fund about 12 or possibly a few more businesses out of this, and they will fight for that part. As in previous rounds, they are the ones that ask. They have two options. We provide grants and we provide interest-free loans. It is up to them to apply. Obviously, if they apply for the whole thing in grant, it's not so competitive as somebody else who says, I'd like half in grant and half in loan, which we sort of prefer. So it is, they decide how much they apply for. But at the same time, they have to match our money. We're not in the business of taking all the risk here. If we're going into business with somebody, if this thing goes wrong and they lose $1 or we lose $1, they're going to lose $1 too. We're going to share this with them. What we want to do is to have our money help them leverage money from a bank. So they've got a $200,000 they want from us, then they've got to find $200,000 from the bank or from additional investment themselves, and then we have a $400,000 project. That's the way that it works. We're not taking all the risk on our own. And also we want to join these companies up with formal finance institutions. We're not going to be there forever. We're not trying to compete with those. If we feel that business can raise all its money purely commercially, we will stand back. What we do is to try and help the ones that can't get there to get them over the hurdle.
Is this fund, are you the judges yourselves, or are the stakeholders will be judging to see who's going to win the grants?
We, in this case, is KPMG. We are the fund management company that manages this fund. Agra hosts the fund, we manage the fund for them. We run the competition. We receive all the applications to the competition. We adjudicate them and mark them and whatever. But we don't make the final decision. We have an independent investment committee that's made up of independent professionals. There are 5 professionals in this case. We have different investment committees for different windows. But in this case, there are 5. They are fully independent. We do the selection. Obviously, they can't look at 500, 400 applications. We get it down to the short list. We give it to them to look at. They pick the ones that they think are the best. And then we take those and we actually then go and visit them. The top ones, we do due diligence on them. We help them revise the business plan. And then they come back and present the final version to the investment committee. How do people actually get to hear of it? Well, of course, they get to hear of it for the events like this, but what do they actually do? They've just got to go to our website, www.aecfafrica.org, and they basically go to that website, click on the website, and there it says the competition is publicised, says how to apply. You click, you register with your email and your whatever, and you download the application form. And there are guidance notes. It's almost like filling in a passport form. You say box 1, and there's a guidance to tell you what we want in box 1. And if you follow the instructions, really it is not so hard. A few hours, solid hours, if you've got a business idea already, a few solid hours, you can do that. We're not looking at this stage for a full financial plan for the next 5 years. That comes after this. If you get through the first bit of the competition, you're one of the top 20 or 30 in the pile. Yeah, then some homework to do, and we'll come and visit you. But just filling in that form, it's a little bit of work, but it's something that everybody should be able to do in a day or two.
Well, look at the kind of projects that have taken place so far over the past few years since came to Tanzania, where have you seen most impact from these projects?
Geographically, we're very well spread across Tanzania. Could we do more? We could do more in the southern part. I mean, your agricultural community is more developed in Arusha and the northern part, particularly on the export side. And yet the southern highlands have got an awful lot of potential, and obviously we would like to support SAGCOT in their efforts in trying to get that corridor going. In terms of the types of projects, I mean, we were talking earlier about certain types of projects having greater impact and whatever. The livestock projects that we have tend to have a greater impact per household. The benefit households tend to be more, funny enough, than the others. So we've got some excellent poultry projects. We've got 2 abattoirs which are doing very well for whatever. So we're very happy with the livestock project. And included in the livestock projects are the animal feed projects that back those up. So if you take poultry, for instance, there's a lot of scope. Poultry is a nice sector because it's quite divisible. It goes quite far down. So yes, okay, you have to be pretty sophisticated to have the hatchery and producing thousands of day-old chicks. But for someone to get into business producing broilers is not so difficult. You know? They can take the day-old chicks and have quite small enterprises that benefit from that. So we find the companies that we're backing in that space, the hatcheries, the poultry feed producers and things like that.
Maybe just a final word for the Tanzanian viewers about this window that's just been opened for them.
I would just encourage Tanzanian, in this case agribusinesses of all sorts and shapes and sizes, please do go to our website, www.aecfafrica.org, and there you will find a place to register and download the application form for this exciting competition, the Tanzania Agribusiness Window Round 4 competition. Your closing date is the 15th of December. Please go, see and compete.
Welcome back to Business Edition, and now with me I have the new Managing Director of Vodacom Tanzania, Ian Ferrao. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. It's great to be here.
I don't think it's going to be fair asking you if 2015 has been a good year for Vodacom because you're the new MD, but still, you've been handed over the office right now. Was it a good year for Vodacom Tanzania when we look at 2015?
I think 2015, there was a lot of good network investment that went into the business. But obviously new competition and really challenging pricing environments taking its toll. But I think what's exciting is about what's coming. So I don't like to look back at the past, it's about what does the future really hold.
Okay, and when we look at the investments that went this year, 2015, where was the priority focus? Was it in the expansion of the network? Is it in terms of services? Where was the focus?
It was quite balanced. So some of it went into new coverage to expand our coverage across the country. But I think a lot of it was focused on capacity. And that was actually a result as what I call the brutal price wars that have been taking place over the last 3 years. We've seen prices fall tremendously during that period. And it's put a lot of pressure on what we need to do in terms of managing traffic on the network. And I think those pricing wars, yes, as I've talked about a lot, they're being very good for consumers. But at what expense? And the expense for me is really that we've had to focus as an industry a lot of investment in what I would say are the wrong places for where Tanzania needs to be. So going forward, you will see a big shift in the way that the investments are now taking place.
So going forward 2016, what should we expect in terms of investments?
Okay, so from my perspective, my vision is to really make sure that Vodacom Tanzania leads the country into the digital era. And for us to do that, the investment has to be focused around broadband technologies. I have a real passion for making sure that our 3G network will become readily available everywhere in the country. So you're going to see a lot more focus on building these data networks to start taking Tanzania on the journey and making us more competitive in the region through the power of the internet. I really want to make sure that we get every Tanzanian connected to the internet, and the network investment needs to be able to follow that. In order to do that, it's not just about building a high-quality data network. It's about putting a lot of fiber into the network and making sure that you're able to carry more and more traffic. And then it's about the products and services, being really exciting around the new services that we launch, getting into other areas in the country like the fixed space. So I think we've got the balance right now going forward for what we want to do, and hopefully that will start to translate into real customers connected to the internet going forward.
Is the environment conducive for you, or are you facing challenges here and there?
I would probably say there are three key challenges that we're facing. The first is on pricing. So I talked a little bit about these price wars. They have been really brutal. We have some of the lowest pricing globally. The price per minute, the price per megabyte on the network. The price per minute is some 4 times cheaper than surrounding countries in the region. The price per megabyte is probably about 10 times lower than what we're seeing out on the continent. And so what that's done is it's put a lot of pressure on top line growth and a lot of pressure on traffic and network investment. And I think what we need to do is to undergo some sort of repair going forward to make sure that we get our pricing to a level that allows you to create the right return on investment, and that you can actually really start to accelerate the network investment because you know that the return is coming quicker. I think the second challenge is very much around taxation. So I look at the taxation that is being paid by the industry here in Tanzania. We have the second highest top-line tax on the continent, only after Gabon. So 35%, 18% VAT, 17% excise duty. And I think that is a real challenge in terms of being able to, again, put the right levels of investment in and getting the right returns. There was a recent study this year by Deloitte that said that if Tanzania was to look at reducing some of the excise duty, if it reduced the excise duty from 17% to 10% as an example, it could result in another 1.7 million customers being able to connect onto the network. Or if we were to look at reducing the excise duty completely on data, that would result in another 1 million data users per year. And I have this belief that our industry is an enabler. It's an enabler for government to facilitate real development across the country and to really boost the economy through connected businesses and connected consumers. And so I'm very passionate at looking at how do we optimize the tax levels versus the general return that the country needs to be able to deliver, and how it will attract more investment in through having rock-solid connectivity for new businesses coming into the market. So it's definitely a conversation I'd love to engage with as we move forward.
Has this had an impact in the competition within, the sector, do you think?
At some point we will see some consolidation because there are a number of players in the industry. Spectrum is obviously a limited resource, and if you look at what's happening today, 99% of subscribers are covered by 3 or 4 operators that hold only 53% of the spectrum. So we're not making the best use of spectrum as an industry, and that is also holding back investment. So whilst I still think there's a lot of opportunity in the market, but for me it's about how do we move Tanzania forward at a faster pace through our investment and our services. And we need to be able to make sure the enablers of pricing, taxation and spectrum are all correct, so that we can maximize every dollar that goes in terms of what it can achieve for the country as a whole.
Despite the challenges they've been facing, operating in a country like Tanzania had impact in turning Tanzanians into more, shall we say, follow the global trend of using smartphones and high-tech sort of thing. Are we heading in that direction, do you think? And do you think Vodacom has had a key role in that area as well?
So I think I'm extremely proud of what I've found in my first 60 days of what Vodacom has achieved. We are the market leader with 12 million subscribers and 7 million of those using M-Pesa. I think we've come a long, long way. And what I always tell people is just close your eyes for 5 seconds and imagine Tanzania without any mobile connectivity whatsoever. And imagine what impact that would have on your lives. And then you can realize how much change we've created over the generations. But right now we're in the data era, and we are going to change lives faster than we've ever changed them before. And it's about getting every consumer, every customer connected to voice, connected to data, connected to M-Pesa. It's about connecting business. It's about making sure e-government is a reality. And I think we're going to be at the forefront of driving smartphone penetration. And what I would say is catching up with the rest of the world, because the world is moving so fast. The one thing I don't want is for Tanzania to fall behind. In fact, we must accelerate faster so that we close the gap. And if we do that, Tanzania will be more competitive in the region as a whole. more competitive for doing business, and it will then start to grow at a much faster rate if we can accelerate our investments.
But the challenge is accessing the rural market.
It's a big challenge. It's a big challenge. One that is semi-fixed by having access to the right amount of spectrum that allows you to roll out at a much faster rate. And that's why I put a lot of emphasis on spectrum, and we're working obviously with government and the TCRA to align ourselves with their progress on auctioning out new spectrum. But yes, we've covered 87% of the population, which I think is no mean feat in Tanzania's terms. It's a huge country. But we don't stop until the next 13% are also connected. And we're very committed to getting our rollout to those levels where 100% of the population is covered through mobile services. But we just need to make sure the enablers are there to make sure that the investment does return in terms of what we're putting in.
As we head into 2016, what are you telling your consumers?
Going to be a magical year. It's going to be the year that the internet comes alive in Tanzania. It's going to be the year where Vodacom Tanzania gets closer and closer and closer to our customers through not just our customer service in terms of pushing out our retail footprint and making sure that we are in your district, but also through our products and services. It's about how we're going to treat customers as an individual and not just as this, one size fits all. You're going to see a lot of unique offers that are meant just for certain types of customers. And we're very excited about that. But what you're really going to see is the Vodacom Tanzania brand come alive. I'm very passionate about our brand. It really stands for something. And for me, it's about how we not just connect people, but how we change lives and how we really create new possibilities for people's lives. And you're going to see that element of our brand come alive. So I'm really excited about what 2016 holds. And I welcome you all to join me on this journey, and hopefully we'll continue to talk and you'll start to see the great progress that we're making and how we accelerate at pace.
Wagif T-shirt comes with the launch of Tecno Y3 Plus, the first smartphone with a fully embedded Kiswahili menu. This is the first smartphone that has everything in Kiswahili. All the menus, all the apps, everything in Kiswahili. This smartphone is going to be sold in all Tigo outlets and by all our agents for only 99,000 shillings. This is a gift to our new and upcoming customers to enable them to share with their loved ones all the wonderful moments associated with the festive seasons. And it's not only the smartphone. When you buy the phone, the customer will enjoy a free 6-month package. The first month, he gets 2 gigabytes and airtime worth of 10,000 shillings to call all networks. From the second to the 6th month, every time the customer tops up 5,000 shillings, he will get additional 10. Tigo to Tigo. Other special features of this phone include an extended battery life. Very, very good battery life. We know that that's something that people need, especially when it's smartphone, that it consumes a lot of energy. It has space for 2 SIM cards and 8 gigabytes of memory, plus a 2 megapixel camera. We want to appeal to our customers, particularly those traveling upcountry for family reunions in rural homes, to take advantage of this offer and carry this special gift to their loved ones. Imagine one of your loved ones in the rural areas receiving their first smartphone in Kiswahili. Can you think of a better Christmas gift? I can't. We believe that this offer will enable many Tigo customers to enjoy the benefits of smartphones, including access to the internet, which is in line with our commitment to promote digital lifestyle transformation. And you can see how all the applications of the phone are in Kiswahili. All the language in the phone is in Kiswahili. You see, ujumbe, kinasa sauti. So you have every single application that you normally find on a normal smartphone now in Kiswahili. So this is a great opportunity for our customers.
Well, that's it from me, Yvonne Msemembo. Until next week, same time, it's goodbye from Business Edition.